Hi YouTube, it's AznEyesWhiteDragon here, and this is a help and advice video on testing the consistency of your deck. Now this video was inspired by one done by AznEyesWhiteDragon. If you haven't subscribed to him, go and check him out. He's a really good YouTuber, quite a cool YouTuber, I have to admit. He did this video on testing the consistency of your deck using his method, but there are several methods apparently. There's things like self-dueling, like dueling against yourself to see how the ratio of consistency is in your deck. Others go by win to lose ratios. But the way he did it was testing out your starting hands and explaining what kind of moves you could do and how you personally think, because it's your deck, how your hands are good, bad, average, whatever. So I thought I'd try out that method just to show you guys the consistency of my Blue Eyes White Dragon deck anyway. And I'll describe to you obviously what I think is a good hand, what's a bad hand, and what kind of moves I would make depending on the hand I've got. So I do hope you guys enjoy. I do hope you guys find this useful. And there will be a link appearing about now to AznEyesWhiteDragon's video if you want to go and check it out. The link's there for you to obviously click and have a look. So here we go. Okay, starting hand of 6 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, if you don't know what the cards are, we've got Monster Born, 2 Totem Dragon, 1 White Snow Legend, 1 Dragon Ravine, 1 Light and Darkness Dragon. I would say start off, that's a very, very good hand, from my opinion, because basically if you manage to go first in a duel, obviously you play Dragon Ravine first, you'll activate its effect, send a Totem Dragon or a White Stone to the graveyard, and send another Totem Dragon or White Stone to the graveyard. Personally, I would send 1 Totem Dragon and another Totem Dragon to the graveyard, because from personal experience, getting these guys in the graveyard for my deck style is always a good thing. And then come next main phase, I could easily set White Stone or set the 3rd Totem Dragon and just allow that to go, or more easily really I could even do, you know, once the Totem Dragons have been sent to the graveyard via Dragon Ravine, play Monster Born, get out a first turn Light and Darkness Dragon. Now some people might argue that would be a better option, but I would say no, because a first turn Light and Darkness Dragon, in some cases it's good, in some cases it's not. It really depends on the situation. But if you play a first turn Light and Darkness Dragon, yes, I will have targets in the graveyard if it does get destroyed, but it means it locks me down, and I can't really play anything else, and I don't like that on a first turn. And my deck is slow. It is a slow deck. It takes time to set things up, but I'd rather have more options than this. When I get Light and Darkness Dragon out, like more options in the graveyard, for example, say a Blue Eyes White Dragon or something. But other than that, I think that's a very, very good hand. If you guys think, you know, if it's an average hand or whatever, just post down in the comments below of what you think is a good hand, not so good hand and everything. But I'm putting that at the top there. Obviously the top pile there, if you can see, hopefully you guys can see alright, is going to be very good hands, average hands, not so good hands right at the bottom. So here we go. Next 6 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, I would say that's a very, very good hand. What we have here is Blue Eyes White Dragon, Divine Dragon Apocalypse, Photon Sanctuary, Mass Dragon, Divine Dragon Ravine, sorry, and Delta Flyer. Again, more than likely, if I was going first with this hand, I would play Dragon Ravine immediately. Possibly send one of these dragons. More than likely, it would be either the Blue Eyes White Dragon or more than likely Divine Dragon Apocalypse, because at that moment I really don't need him in the hand. Send a Totem Dragon to the graveyard to get things started. And then first turn I could easily get out Blue Eyes with Photon Sanctuary if I wanted, or if I wanted to play it safe and get an idea of what the opponent's deck is like, I would obviously set Mass Dragon or summon Mass Dragon, see what they do to get rid of it. But either way, if I decide not to play Blue Eyes first turn with Dragon Ravine, it means I've got a Totem Dragon in the graveyard just in case, and I still have Photon Sanctuary ready to get out. But knowing my own personal way, I would probably get out Blue Eyes immediately, because obviously that means the opponent would be forced to use a couple of resources to get rid of it, or would be forced to play defensive immediately because there's a 3000 beater on this field. So I would say that's a very good hand as well. So far that's 2 good hands there. So I'll put that there then. Right, next 6 cards we have Mirror Force, White Stone, Light and Darkness, Trade-in, Alexandrite. Right, I would say that's an average hand, to be honest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, silly me, miscounted there. There we go, 6 cards. Yeah, maths isn't very good today, unfortunately. Right, I would say that's an okay hand, to be honest. Starting off with 2 Mirror Force, never really a good option, especially early in the game, unless of course your opponent happens to be really good with swarming. Other than that, the first thing I would definitely do is trade in and Light and Darkness Dragon, because as I said, depending on the situation, Light and Darkness Dragon can be good first turn, but it depends. I would play that, get my next 2 cards, and then either summon Alexandrite, more than likely, just because obviously it's a 2000 attack beat stick, and set a Mirror Force just to protect it, or set White Stone, set Mirror Force. So not very many options there, I will admit, but I would say that's an okay hand. Could be better if the second Mirror Force had been something else, but that's an okay hand, I would say. Next 6 cards: Masked Dragon, Vanguard of the Dragon, Call of the Haunted, Call of the Haunted, Blue Eyes White Dragon. I would say that's a very good hand. Yes, I've got 2 Call of the Haunted, but that doesn't really matter. I could either set Masked Dragon, let the engine go, or I could summon Vanguard, discard the Blue Eyes. I've done it again. Good grief, what is it with me doing that? Miscounting the cards. Jeez, oh. Right, there we go. 6 cards is Photon Sanctuary. I'm really sorry about this, guys. I don't know why my maths is off today. Anyway. So, yeah, more options there. Vanguard, discarded Blue Eyes. You know, I've got a target right in the graveyard for Vanguard's effect. Set Masked Dragon, get an engine going, or go first turn Blue Eyes again with Photon Sanctuary, which is more than likely what I tend to do. And then set 1 or 2 Call of the Haunteds, obviously as bluffs or just as ready bait for Blue Eyes if it gets destroyed or gets discarded via Vanguard's effect. So I'd say that's a very good hand, to be honest. So that's 3 very good hands in my opinion. Next 6 cards: Shining, Poly, White Stone, MST, Heavy Storm, Pot of Duality. Right, I can say dead off that is a crap hand. That is an absolute crap hand. And I have started with hands like this before, and it has never been good whenever I've started with hands like this. Depending on what I get with Pot of Duality, the only option I've got is literally set White Stone, set MST, or keep it in the hand. That's it. So that's definitely a crap hand, I can tell you there. So 1 average, 1 very crap, 3 good pals. Not too bad so far. Next 6 cards, we've got Totem Dragon, Mystical Space Typhoon, Pot of Duality, Blue Eyes White Dragon, Dark Hole, and Trading. A very good hand. I would definitely say that's a very, very good hand. Now, what I would do personally first is I would play Pot of Duality, see what I get. If I happen to get another Blue Eyes White Dragon, that's brilliant, because then I could discard it for trading. However, if I don't get that, then play Pot of Duality, get whatever I need to hand, play Trading, discard the Blue Eyes, you know, draw another 2 cards, and then depending on what I've got, you know, more options there, really. More than likely I would set the Totem Dragon, so I've got something ready for any of my beat sticks to come out. And of course, having a Dark Hole first turn means you can keep it in your hand safe, to an extent at least, until you need it, so that way if you run into trouble, you know you've got your Dark Hole ready. And of course an MST to get rid of any back rows. I would say that's actually quite a good hand, but it all depends on the options really that you get with these 2 cards. But I would still say that's a pretty good hand. More than likely, whenever I've got those kind of combos off, I've often gotten really good hands. And the last couple of cards. Now obviously I'll run a 40 card deck, so the number of cards would be different with the last hand, but say if I was to get, well, let's just pick 2 random cards. Alright, go these 2. If I was to say get a starting hand of these 2 cards, for example, right, so 6 cards there, I would say that's actually an average hand, to be honest, because well, Shining Dragon is never a good thing really first turn, because it means it stays in your hand unless you discard it or something. She's not very good very first turn. I mean, when there's a build up to something, yeah, fine, fair enough. Dragon Ravine, you know, I can ditch Light and Darkness or Shining, get rid of the dead hand if I really needed to. Send my White Stones or Totems to graveyard, or Vanguard's effect to send these 2, send Light and Darkness or Blue Eyes or even Alexandrite to the graveyard, just to give it attack boost and power, and give it a target with the AznEyesWhiteDragon, set mirror force. Pretty much that would mean my whole hand would be used up if I was to go with Vanguard's effect, but more than likely I would do summon out this, maybe discard AznEyesWhite or Shining Dragon, get something out, and then play Vanguard, and hopefully, you know, not get killed, and keep the lad and the mirror force in my hand until next turn, where I can play them more efficiently, to be honest. So I say that was an average hand. I mean, several plays there, but all depending on the situation, really. So ratio wise, for the Blue Eyes deck anyway, I've got how many pals? 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, I've got 4 good pals, 2 not so good pals, 1 not very or average pals, and 1 not very good pals. So my deck consistency is, I would say, it's average. I mean, there's options there in the okay pals, and there's quite good hands I can get, but because of all the specific cards and all that, I can get bad hands, and the consistency can suffer if I don't shuffle it right sometimes. Whatever, I would say the deck's consistency is average, but for my Blue Eyes White Dragon deck anyway. I mean, I wonder what you guys think. I mean, if you think it's better or worse, you know, just say so. But the deck consistency for Blue Eyes White Dragon, I think, is okay. It could be improved. I mean, if I need to improve it, I'll improve it. But the thing is, no deck is perfect. No deck can get 100% consistency. It just depends on how you shuffle your deck, how you play your cards, and what you choose to do with the cards in the situation you're given. So anyway, I don't think there's anything else I can say about this, but this was a really interesting way to see how my deck consistency is. I do want to improve the consistency, but again, remember, as I said, no deck's 100% perfect, no deck is 100% consistent. You know, doesn't matter how much you try to edit it, you will always get bad hands. I mean, the worst hand I've ever had with this deck was literally Shining Dragon, maybe a couple of Blue Eyes and a couple of lads. Literally, I could do nothing with the hand. I know it's very, very rare for that to happen, but it can happen. But all decks are like that, unfortunately. Anyway, guys, I hope you found that interesting. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry it's a long video there, but I needed to really explain how it worked. Anyway, link's still up there for AznEyesWhiteDragon's video if you want to go and check it out again. Until then, I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you guys in the next one. So, bye-bye!